Your biggest assignment for our class is the unit plan. And what we're going to do is break the unit plan down into different component parts, which we'll work on through the second half of the semester. So for this unit plan, you're going to create a 15-day unit plan to support a class of intermediate students at the grade level of your choice. You can pick whatever grade level best fits your needs. And you can also manipulate the timing of the schedule to fit your needs. So instead of a 15-day, 40-minute schedule, if you work with elementary students, maybe you do a 7.5-day, 80-minute schedule because you know the blocks are longer. You must include activities and assessments to help students develop all 4 language situations: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And remember, as language teachers, we're always teaching through content. So you must align your unit with standards aligned with content as well as language proficiency. The topic of study is up to you, but it has to fit those content standards that students would be studying in their other classes, with the main focus being on language development. In your unit plan, you need to assess that these content standards and LEP standards have been met. I provide you here with a model assignment. Now, this assignment was for a class in TESOL assessment, and it was in New York State, so the standards are different and the requirements of the project are different. But it gives you a good overview of what a completed unit plan should look like. This is the home page for the unit plan, and this is the unit plan outline that we'll talk about next. See how she divides the different components she needs to into different pages on the unit plan? So the diagrams that connect in these parts are connected with other diagrams on other documents, so it keeps it very nice and organized. Her lesson plans and all of her materials are very nicely organized. They take you to a different Google Doc page so that you can see it very easily. Includes all of her references in APA 6th edition. So the first component of this overall project is going to be our unit plan outline. This is going to guide the creation of your final project, but it's by no means a completed document once you submit this first outline. It's going to change based on the feedback I give you, based on the lesson plans you create, and based on your completed unit plan. This will continue to grow and change. It's required that you create a Google Doc to house your unit plan. You can see the model for an example, and this will keep your organization as you continue to add components. This will be the home page. You'll add your daily lesson plans, diagrams, etc. to it. So for the outline, you'll be graded on this rubric. Alignment is key. Your standards, your objectives, and your assessments throughout your unit have to be aligned. You need to have a well-organized outline, including objectives and standards. You need to differentiate instruction. You need to focus on developing language and cultural skills. You need to plan for assessment throughout the unit plan, and you need to make sure that the assignment is well written. So the first thing you want to do is create an outline or diagram overviewing your unit plan by the day. How are you going to hit those 4 different language situations? How are you going to teach the content material, etc.? Then you need to decide which LEP standards and performance indicators you're going to align to. And then you'll create a diagram as you continue brainstorming of which activities and which assignments are going to meet these standards. And how are you going to assess these standards? You also need to align to the content standards. You can pick any content that you want at any grade level of your choosing. It's kind of a dream unit plan. If you've always been interested in science and you can come up with something great and interesting, go there. Or take it to ELA, or take it to math or social studies, or anything you really would like to hit. Then you need to list your unit objectives. Your unit objectives should be very broad. It should be the overarching. There should be around maybe 3 to 4. And then your daily objectives from your daily lesson plans will align to these unit objectives. Your daily lesson plan objectives will change as you continue to develop your lesson plans, but you give a rough draft here in the diagram. You need to talk about how all 4 situations are going to be addressed, how you're going to address culture in your unit plan. Tell us what do students need to know and be able to do prior to starting this unit plan. So in terms of communicative abilities, in terms of content knowledge. You're going to write 2 to 3 paragraphs about how you could change this unit plan based on learners from year to year. Discuss your plan for the assessments of the learners. Remember, your assessments should provide meaningful feedback to all of the learners. So you don't just want this to be a pen and paper test that occurs at the end of the unit plan. That doesn't give you great, meaningful feedback throughout the unit plan. You want to have lots of different things: self-assessments, peer assessments, games, running records, think back of all of our different course texts. And you'll need to justify how you're going to assess these language skills and how you're going to assess the content skills through our course text. You need to support that justification. And then include all your references. Your reference list is going to continue to grow. It's okay if you decide to use a material that's already been created in your unit plan, but you do have to reference that original. Even if you make substantial changes to it, you have to reference that initial material. So that's the unit plan outline. That's due Friday, March 11th, and you'll get feedback on that. You'll post your link to your Google Doc down here in the discussion forum. Your next assignment will be Lesson Plan 1. Lesson Plan 1 focuses on the listening skills. This lesson plan will not be the only time in your unit plan that you address listening skills, but it will be one of the times that there's a listening activity. So this unit plan or this lesson plan needs to connect at some point with listening. You'll be assessed on this rubric, and you'll write up your daily lesson plan. So you need to go back to your standards and your content standards. You need to write your daily lesson objective or objectives and make sure they're connecting with those overarching unit objectives. And change your unit objectives as you create these lesson ones to make sure it's well developed. What language situations are being addressed? For this one, it has to be listening, but it could be others. What content skills? Tell us about the setup for this lesson, what materials you need, including all appropriate references. And then you need to tell us the procedures. This is very detailed of exactly what will occur. So if you say it's going to be groups, you need to tell us approximately how many people you aim to have in the groups and how will you set up the classroom. How will you use the different materials that you've decided to use in this lesson with students? Be very, very explicit. How will students be assessed on what is worked on today in class in terms of both language and content skills? And why are you choosing to do so in this manner? The assessment doesn't have to occur on this day. It could occur 2 days later or at the end of the unit plan, but you just need to demonstrate that you're thinking about how the students will get feedback on what they've learned here. And then you need to provide a rationale. 1 to 2 paragraphs describing why you decided to design and facilitate the lesson plan this way. This needs to be strongly connected to our course texts. You need to describe how this lesson works towards your overall unit objectives, your topic, your assessments, how is it aligned? And 1 to 2 paragraphs describing how you might alter this lesson plan based on differing student need in future years. You'll post this with the links to a separate Google document and link it back to your original. And you'll post that link again in the discussion forum. So you should create one thread with your name as the title, and then you'll post on that thread for each of the different components of this unit plan. You should only post on your classmates' threads when we respond to the final presentation. That's the only time you should post on another classmate's. Lesson Plan 2 allows you to develop speaking or reading skills, following the same format as Lesson Plan 1. And Lesson Plan 3 works on writing skills. Now, your final overall project will be the completed unit plan. Your completed unit plan needs to include your outline. Again, this shouldn't be the same outline you submitted weeks ago. It should grow and develop as your plan grew and developed. You need to include lesson plans for each day of the unit. Create and submit all supporting materials for all of your lesson plans. So if you say you're going to use a video, you need to include the link to the video. And lastly, you need to write a 2 to 3 page justification of why you did what you did in the unit plan. Explain your standards, explain the topic, demonstrate that your decisions were strongly grounded in the research in our field. So you can connect to the course text, you can connect to different research in the field, but you have to support and demonstrate the trustworthiness of this unit, that it's best practices. Once you've completed your unit plan, you post your final discussion forum link with the link to the completed unit plan, the Google Doc. And then you're going to create a 5-minute presentation. Again, you can create a screencast. Don't spend too much time on the small details. Really view this as an opportunity to talk to us about why you think this unit plan will be beneficial to learners. And post this link in the Google Doc as well. A few days later, you'll need to respond to at least 3 of your classmates. Your completed unit plan will be assessed on the following: your alignment, the outline, your rationale, as well as your rationales linked to theory and research, your objectives, your standards, your differentiation of instruction, how you're justifying, implementing, and managing standards-based content instruction, the different resources and technology you use, the language proficiency assessment you use, the content assessment you use, the clarity in your writing, your presentation, and your responses to your classmates. Once you create your presentation, you post it to the discussion forum as well. Let me know if you have any questions as you're working.